What's up, Canfield Nation? Welcome back into Coca's Pizza here in Canfield. Our third player profile for the Canfield football team. We are joined by a defensive lineman and linebacker, a letter winner from a year ago. It is Caden Kohout. Caden, thanks for coming out here tonight,
Thanks
man.
for having me.
All right. You play two sports at Canfield, football, wrestling, just like Noah Frank, who we did earlier. What's it been like throughout your high school career playing these two sports?
It's been a great experience. I mean, I love every sport I'm playing, and I've got buddies in there, so I'm always having a great time.
Wrestling, you had a great year. I mean, you had the chance to go compete for a state title in
Yeah.
Columbus at the Schottenstein Center. So what was that experience like for you? I mean, those are big crowds that goes to those events. I've been to a couple when guys like David Crawford were wrestling in the state championship. So what was like
I mean,
that
it was
experience?
great to be down there. I didn't make it in, but I had
Yeah.
a fun time, and I got to go down with one of my good buddies, Jimmy Scher, and
Yeah.
his brother. So, yeah, it was a great experience.
And, how does that motivate you coming up for this year? I mean, your senior year coming up, another good team coming back for Canfield. So on the wrestling side, what excites you for this season?
Yeah, I mean, that experience motivates me to just get back out there and try to go for it again, really.
And then for football as well, letter winner from a year ago, you got a lot of playing time. And, this year you're stepping up in a big way, calling your name a lot on the defensive side and making a lot of tackles. What are some things you did in the offseason to kind of prep for your senior year and get bigger, faster, and stronger?
I mean, I looked at a lot of film and just try to stay in the weight room when I can and just keep that strength up. But, I mean, I'm a multi-sport athlete, so coming right off wrestling, that's really going to help you.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, talk about that, because Noah said when he's in football, he's bulking up, he's trying to get bigger, and then when he goes to wrestling, you got to cut a lot. Are you in the same boat as him?
This year I didn't have to cut too much, but there's been years where I've cut like 10 pounds in 3 days.
That's
some
brutal.
crazy stuff. But yeah, this year's been pretty good.
Good. So what's the diet like for you during the football season compared to like the wrestling season?
Drastic difference. I mean, football season I can eat anything like Chipotle every day, but wrestling season I'm eating lean meats, vegetables. Fun.
Yeah. That doesn't sound fun. All right, defensive starter, defensive lineman, and linebacker. What are some things you learned from the guys from a year ago to be such an explosive linebacker?
I mean, I grew up watching those guys play, and I mean, getting the firsthand experience from them, it really just taught me to go fast and low and just blow up everybody you can.
Yeah, that's your mentality, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like a bulldog out there.
Yeah.
You put your head down and you smack some people. You laid a hit on a dude last week. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how that guy's getting up.
Yeah.
But what kind of mentality do you have when you put on that helmet and take the field? Is it like that bulldog mentality?
Yeah, when I go out there, I just want to hit the crap out of somebody.
Is that your wrestling mindset too? I mean, when you get on the mat, you got to be a little more particular and tactic.
I mean, like some wrestling matches, I don't even think it's like second nature. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you just get lost. You just want to dominate the other guy.
Last year, you were rewarded with honors on both sides, second team All-AAC in wrestling and football. What did those awards kind of mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, they were a great honor just from that experience, and just being called out and just makes you feel great and makes you want to go all the way.
Yeah, it's got to motivate you to get first team, right, this year for football and wrestling. I mean, that's also a motivational factor in the same point. Yeah, it's great to get second team, but you want to get first team, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so coming up, big week, Cheney Cowboys. They are number 7 in the state, like we were talking about earlier. What has this week of practice been like, and how locked in has this team been?
Yeah, the intensity has been great. I think we've had like the greatest, really great practices we've had this week. It's just really been preparing us for this game. And like last week, the intensity was insane. It's just carried over.
Now, you talked about watching film. You're a big film guy. What have you seen from Cheney? I know they got some explosive receivers, Waller and Hewlett, 2 guys that are going to go play some D1 football. As a linebacker, what are some things you're seeing from Cheney and how you're going to limit them?
Yeah, those fast receivers and those backs. I mean, really just got to match that speed and be able to keep up with them and just get that explosive attitude up there and try to stop some plays.
Now, you're acting as one of the more like captain-ish guys on the linebacking crew. You got some younger guys coming in that didn't get as much experience. What do you do on a weekly basis to kind of help them learn different plays and different assignments?
I mean, those younger guys, I just love being friends with all of them. And I try to get them like motivated to get into that game and just get them as good as they can be. Really.
Kohout family is well known in Canfield. I know your sister who runs track and cross country at Youngstown State. So you're kind of living up the legacy there. What's it been like, growing up and being with your sister, who's a great athlete, and then yourself following through? What's it been like going through this Canfield tradition?
I mean, yeah, my name's always been known, so it's you got to live up to a lot of hype.
Yeah.
But yeah, my sister, uh, two different sports,
Yeah,
so
a little bit
pretty
different.
different. Yeah, but yeah, with what she's done in track, it's been kind of crazy. So living up to it, I think I've done pretty all right.
Yeah, I think you've done pretty well for
Yeah.
yourself. Already an AAC wrestler and football player. Ask Noah the same question. A very quick, I guess, switch you got to make from football after the season's over to wrestling, because you're hoping to make a good playoff run. You end somewhere in November, and then your first match is in December for wrestling. So how difficult is that to kind of flip that switch and, get on the mats and prepare?
I mean, switching that fast really makes you realize like the conditioning level that you need.
Mm-hmm.
The muscle groups are just entirely different. So like you're stepping on the mat, you're feeling sore like you haven't felt in a year. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Outside of football, outside of wrestling, maybe some things that you like to do, some hobbies.
I mean, I love hanging with my friends, playing sports when we can, and playing Xbox with the boys.
All right. Any pregame rituals you go through? Maybe a prayer like Hunter was saying, stretching, anything to get you locked in, anything you do?
I mean, find a seat and really just sit down and kind of lock down to some music.
Yeah. What's your go-to playlist?
80s rock.
80s rock,
Yeah.
really? Okay, that's a throwback. So who are some of your favorite bands then? I'm not very familiar with 80s rock.
Aerosmith and Rolling Stone and all that.
Okay, like AC/DC and that stuff. All right. I like that. A little old school. I know a lot of these guys like the country stuff, so I do like the 80s rock coming in there. Favorite NFL team? Who's your favorite team?
Browns all
There
the
you go. Love it.
Yeah.
All right. You a Cleveland guy then?
Yeah.
You like the Cavs? You like
up with all of them.
Okay. I love it. And when you were growing up, who were some of the Canfield football players you maybe looked up to when you were a kid?
Yeah. Nick Crawford, David Crawford, the whole Crawford family, really.
Yeah.
Fletcher, Ethan Fletcher, and just those big linemen like, what's it called? Minnie.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. Big guys.
When you look at that, a lot of good Canfield football players are also wrestlers.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, you're always in your stance in wrestling, so you always have that explosive mentality. That's what I'm saying again. I mean, and it's working muscle groups, so those guys are always in shape and just ready to go, I think.
Yeah, they are. I mean, Delicio, who's a D1 athlete.
Yeah.
You got Stein at Ohio State. David Crawford went to Pitt for a year. So there's a lot to live up in the Canfield program, especially for wrestling and for football. And, how much does that kind of shine down on you, knowing the tradition and, the success in the past?
Yeah, it just feels great to be a part of it. And just looking back on it, it just fills you with a lot. You love it.
Yeah. Before we let you go, I want to give you a shout out to your family, your friends, anybody that supported you both on the mat and on the football field. Maybe some of those that have gone out of their way to, go a long ways to watch you play.
Yeah, I want to thank my family, my sister, of course, and my grandparents, and then my coaches.
All right, man. Caden, we appreciate you coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck on Friday night. Caden Kohout, another Canfield football player. This player profile brought to you by Coca's Pizza here in Canfield. We will have head coach Mike Pavlansky